Welcome to the part 10 of chapter 4 Modern Indian History lecture series by Bipin Chandra. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the permanent settlement. Okay, so this permanent settlement will come under the category of land revenue policy, where we'll take the permanent settlement, the Rahatwari system, and the others. Okay, so primarily this lecture will be focused upon the permanent settlement. Before moving to the lecture, I will request you to please go through this lecture till the end so that you will have a complete picture of the topic. So, what happened? So, how land revenue policies and all. The British who ruled into India, the British who ruled into India, they survived so long years was only due to the collection of, mainly due to the collection of land revenue, mainly due to the collection of land revenue. Because the ruling of so much that vast area is very difficult without having a great source of money, and the source of money for them ruling into the India was land revenue, because they were utilizing this money only into their for their day to day activities. Okay, for their day to day activities. So the main aim of the land revenue policy. So that's why they introduced multiple settlement, multiple policies, multiple rules to collect that revenue system. So the British company needed Indian revenues to pay for its purchases of Indian handicrafts and the goods for export to meet the cost of conquest of whole India, and the pay for the employment of thousands of Englishmen, administrative and military position. So the people who were working, the British people who were working into the India, there is not like they want get money from Britain to give the salary to those people. They the profitable way is to collect the money from the India only, from that region only, and pay them the salary. Okay, right? So that was the concept. So to meet the need of the demands of the different works, the employment of Englishmen, the conquest of whole of India, like their salaries, the administrative work, the military position, and also to meet whole demand, they need the efficient revenue collection of the land. Thus, they required fulfill penetration of Indian villages and far-flung areas. So, confined to the only urban centers and the port areas, now they wanted to penetrate themselves into the village areas, as we have discussed in the previous chapter, like the introduction of railways line through the port areas to the urban centers and to the military officials only. But now they wanted to penetrate to the villages as well, because villages have the land collection, they will get too much revenue collection from those areas only, so they wanted to penetrate into those areas. Okay, so steep rise in the burden of taxation on the Indian peasants on the right was increased. In fact, all the administrative and the judicial system changes till 1813 was done through the collection of land revenues only. Okay, so the British could not have conquered such a vast area as India if they had not taxed the peasants heavily. Okay, that's what it is telling, that if you want to rule such a vast area, you must have a money, you must have a money to rule over that vast area. And from where these money were collected, these monies were collected through land revenue. Okay, these monies were collected through land revenue. And what kind of collection was there? Heavily taxation, heavily taxation, because there were scenarios where the agriculture was not good, climate condition was not good, the agri products were affected, but at the same time they were charging their revenue, the tax to the peasant, that we don't worry what kind of climate condition was there or not, you got the product, the food product or not, we won't care, we want our tax. Okay, that was their concern. And this happened only because of heavily taxation, thus they were able to rule over the India. So India zamindars, revenue farmers, etc., who collected land revenue from cultivators and keep a part of it their commission. So, in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the permanent settlement. What was the permanent? What is permanent settlement? So, the reason the Warren Hastings auctioned the right to collect the Warren Hastings auctioned the right to collect land revenue to the highest bidder. So it was like the person who will act as the collectorate of the land revenue was that person who will give high bid. So high bid was kind of things like I will give you rupees 10 from that land. Another bidder will tell no, I will give you rupees 100 from that land yearly or the monthly. So the person who is bidding the highest, the British official will give to that person to collect the revenues. Okay, but it did not work. It was that scenario. So why it didn't work? What was the reason behind not working that bidding system? The reason behind bidding system was that yearly, every year, the person will change. Okay, the bidder will change. Person will or the bidder will change. Okay, the person A is selected as a bidder for land X. Now, let us suppose for this year, let us suppose for year 2001, this person was selected. Now, for the 2002, again there will be a bidding process. Again, there will be a bidding process, and someone else will be elected, or there is a chance that same person will be elected, but there is not surety. They are not confirmed, like they are going to get collection for the next year as well. Thus, they did not give that much care what the peasants are doing or not. Okay, so it was like I just got the collection revenue and I will collect, I will do the collection, I will not care of the peasants because there was not guaranteed like next year also he was going to be uh, uh, elected as a collector, money revenue tax collector. Okay, thus they were not giving their best efforts in collecting the revenue. So same thing is mentioned here. It did not work. Why did not work? Though it was done by zamindars and other speculators bidding against each other. Okay. Now the people who were bidding, they were against. They were known to each other. So it was like next time I will bid. Next time the next time you will bid that much higher. So there was not surety. Like there was kind of corruption, kind of something within themselves as well. So this leads to the variation in actual connection yearly collection not collection collection yearly. The land revenue collection varied year to year and seldom came to official expectations. This introduced instability in the company's revenue. Neither the riot nor the jamindar would do anything to improve the cultivation when they did not know what the next year's assessment would be or who would be the next year's revenue collector. Understand, like there was not surety, there was not stability kind of thing, who was going to revenue collector. So let us suppose if I'm going to know like array like next year I'm not going to do that like as someone else will work on my place, so why should I care? Let us suppose there is an employee A and he is leaving, he has submitted the resignation paper to his company, to company C1. Okay, now and the notice period for him is 3 months. Notice period of him is 3 months. Now what happens? This person will won't care for 3 months. Like at the end he is going to leave the company, so he won't care for the task. Let us suppose if a manager has given a task T1, the task has to be completed in 1 week, and he will not care like okay, I will complete the task in week 2. What he can do, he can pull me, he can push me out the company or the project, but at the end I am also leaving the company, so he won't care. So that kind of mindset was present at the time. So that kind of mindset was running into the jamindars and the cultivators and the landlords and all. Okay, so the permanent settlement was introduced to cope up these drawback in Bengal and the Bihar in 1793 by Lord Cornwallis. Oh, by the Lord Cornwallis in the 1793. It had two special features. What kind of special features? One special feature was that as it was a permanent settlement, so it was like government said, British government said, okay, from land A, I will charge rupees 100. Okay, rupees 100 I want yearly. Okay, I want rupees 100 yearly. Now, what tax of now rupees 100 is the tax. In the rupees 100, whatever the tax you will collect, in the rupees 100, rupees 90 will belong to the British government and rupees 10 will be the uh, uh, will be fees for you. Okay, so rupees 10 the collector will collect, revenue tax collector will get, and rupees 90 will British government will collect. So rupees 100 was a tax for a land. Now, now after that there will be a catch. What is the catch? There was no any limitation in collection of the tax. No limitation in collection of the tax. What kind of limitation I'm talking about? The revenue collector was even allowed to collect more than rupees 100. He can, if he is capable to do. What kind of mean? By corruption, by pushing the government, by pushing the peasants, sorry, not government, by pushing the peasants, by beating the peasants, or by telling the peasants like you got that much of if let us suppose in this year too much good agriculture product happened, so I won't take rupees 100, I will take rupees 200, okay, as a revenue tax. Whatever be the means, if revenue collector was able to collect more than rupees 100 also, let us suppose he collected from land A rupees 200, rupees 200. Okay. Now, in that rupees 200, what was the tax? Rupees 100 was fixed by the government. So government will get rupees 90 only. In this 200 also, government will get rupees 90 only. But rest of the rupees 110, rest of the rupees 110 will go into the pocket of revenue collector. Okay, that was come under the permanent settlement. That was the profit of the revenue collector. Okay, that was the whole main major concept of this permanent settlement. Like if the land is fixed, so what now? What is the benefit of this settlement? What was the benefit of settlement? Okay, now if revenue collector knew that okay, I'm getting that much of profit, so I will push the peasants, I will push the farmers to grow more. Okay, I will try to improve the agriculture methods, I will try to improve the irrigation methods, I will try to improve the means of agriculture activities, so that farmers will be able to produce more, and when they will produce more, I will be able to collect more tax. And when I am able to collect more tax, like here in this scenario, rupees 210, my profit margin will automatically increase. In the previous scenario, as per the government fix, I was getting rupees 10 only. But if I am able to collect more, I am getting more money, I am getting more profit. So that was the main thing under this settlement. Okay, the same thing is explained here. So the zamindars and the revenue collectors were converted into so many landlords. So they were not only act as an agent of government in collecting land revenue, but also to become the owners of the entire land in the zamindari. So they also become the owners of the land in in the system. For the right of ownership was made hereditary. Like even if that revenue collector dies, then his children will be able to act as a revenue collector. So it became the hereditary and transferable. So let us suppose if I want to give the collection of this land to my friend, I was able to do so because it was transferable also. The cultivators were given low status of mere tenants. So the person who were working into the lands, they were called as their position was worse, and they were only tenants there. Okay, banda majdoor and kind of things. In fact, the tenants of Bihar and Bengal were left at the mercy of zamindars. Their rights of pastures and the forest land, irrigation, fisheries, protection against enactment of rates were sacrificed. So there was no any kind of rights or protection kind of things for them. That kind of things were for zamindars because they were getting profit. The British government is not going to interfere into their revenue collection. British government want only their tax. Whatever after that, whatever they are doing, whether they are collecting more or not, British government was not worrying kind of things. This kind of protection was not present for the peasants. So the power of Jamindar was increased to meet the exorbitant land revenue demand of the company. Now, here what I have seen, what I have told you, these things. So here the profit margin I told you. Now, one more thing. Rupees 100 among rupees 90 government want. Here, government said in this settlement, it was like whether you have a good product good agriculture or not, British government want rupees 90 at the end of year at any cost. That was one more catch from the British government will take rupees 90, whatever he won't care whether the agriculture was good, whether the agriculture was bad. I don't care. I want rupees 90. I want my share. I want my tax. Okay, that was one of the scenario with this policy. Okay, so the jamindars. So at the both side, the tenants were at a lower end only. So the jamindars were to give 10 by 11th of the rental they derived from the peasantry to the state, and keeping only 1 by 11th, keeping only 1 by 11th, but sums to be paid by them as a land revenue were fixed in perpetuity. That this sum rupees 90, this rupees 90 was fixed, but this collection of rupees 100 was not fixed. Understand? This collection of rupees 100 was not fixed. So if the rental of Jamindar estate were increased owing to extension of cultivation and improvement in the agriculture, or his capacity to extract more from its tenants, or any other reason, if he is able to collect more revenue, if he would keep the entire amount of the increase, the estate would not make any further demand for them. If he is able to collect rupees 100, estate would not make demand, estate still want rupees 90 only. Even if Jamindar collected only rupees 60, then also estate will want rupees 90 only. I don't care what you collected, I want rupees 90 only. Okay, that kind of scenario was there. So at the same time, Jamindar had to pay his revenue rigidly on due to due date, even if the crop had failed for some reason. Otherwise, this land that was told to the Jamindar will be sold. Okay. So this was the 2 points, two major points into this permanent settlement. So the recognition of Jamindar as the proprietors of the land was basically determined by the political, financial, and administrative expediency, and these three guidelines factors for it. The three guidelines for the collection of the the recognition of the Jamindar who will collect the land and all. Okay. So the British official knew that they were foreigners in India and their rule would be understood unless they acquire local supporters. So it is like the British knew that they are foreigners, okay? They are foreigners to rule India. To rule India, they must have to build connection. They must have to build connection with whom? Local strong people. So in this case, local strong people were who? Local strong people were who? They were jamindars, landlords, and all. Okay, they were jamindars, lands and all. So that they think knew. So they would be unstable unless they acquired local supporters who would act as a buffer between them and the people of India. Further, large revolts were happening in Bengal during the last quarter of 18th century. So they brought into existence of healthy and privileged class of jamindars so that they could have control over the local people. So this expectation was in fact fully justified. Later, the Jamindar as a class supported the foreign government in opposition to the rising movement of the freedom. So as we'll see, even in the during the freedom movement, we'll see that the in the national movement, the section who will support foreign rulers were none. It was these people only. These jamindar, the businessmen, were the people who supported the British rule. We'll see in I think in the chapter 12 or 11. So the permanent settlement proved to be guaranteed stability of income for them. So it is like by introducing the permanent settlement, British government was going to get rupees 90 at the end of the year. Whether it is a profit for them, whether it is a loss for them, I will get my money. So through this permanent settlement, British were guaranteed the stability of income. In the previous scenario, there was no guaranteed for them because there was a bidding system kind of thing. So nobody knew like what kind of collection was going to be the next year. Okay, but here it was like they fixed it. I want that money. I don't care what collection you are going to do. So the newly created property of jamindars acted as a security of this. The collection of revenue through a small number of jamindars seemed to be much simpler and cheaper than the process of dealing with the lakhs of cultivators. So let us suppose, instead of foreign rulers, this British had to deal with each villagers to collect the revenue. Villagers one, villager two, villager three, villager four people. Okay. Now, what British government did? British government introduced one person, Jamindar. and this jamindar will be responsible to collect the money from each of them. He will be responsible to collect each of one of them. So now what happened, this British government have to deal with this one person only. Earlier he had to deal with this so much people from villages to collect the revenue. Now British government have to worry to talk with this one person only, instead of dealing with the each member of the village. Okay, so that was one benefit for them. So instead of dealing with the lakhs of cultivators, they had to deal with the jamindars only. The permanent settlement was expected to increase agricultural production as the land revenue was fixed and not increase in future. The jamindars would be eager to increase the production and earn more for themselves. Like if they produce, if the peasant is able to produce more, so the jamindar will collect tax more. Okay, and the tax to pay to the peasant, to the British government not fixed, so their profit will be more, so they try to improve the agriculture produce. Okay, thus, the Jamindar would be getting into the production and earn more themselves. So the permanent settlement was later extended to Odisha, North District of Madras, District of Varanasi. So in parts of central India and Awadh, the British introduced a temporary Jamindari settlement under the Jamindars were made owners of the land, but revenue they had to pay were revised periodically. So in the few areas, it was like the revenue collection was revised periodically. So in the previous scenario, I said like 90 rupees like fixed, but not here. Okay, in the few places like in the Awadh and all. Another group of landlords was created all over India where the government started the practice of giving land to the person who had rendered faithful service to the foreign rulers. Okay, so the next topic will be a Rayatwari settlement. We'll talk into the next lecture. So I hope you have liked this video. Please like and subscribe. This is a new channel. We really need your support. If you have any doubt, please feel free to ping on my Twitter handle or the comment below. Thank you.